What is up? Welcome to Spoiler Kings.
Woo!
Oh, a little zombie guy there. Um,
Sup?
yeah, man. So,
Thanks, Will.
so I know, like we were just talking on the other one. So we just did
Yeah.
our Spider-Man reaction. We watched it. I think we got kicked out for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Totally.
So if you didn't check that out, that's why, man. You gotta check us out live. Make sure you subscribe to that channel and check us out because we try to do all that like random kind of stuff, like where that just so happened to come out today right before we went live.
Yep.
So we reacted to it. Brian came on, and gave us his thoughts about it. So you guys want to make sure you want to subscribe to our channel. But that was that. So now we are talking about the new HBO Max movie Reminiscence. Did you want to do the quick synopsis?
Yes. But let's see. Got you. I don't have that ready.
No, Google it real quick. But yeah, we're gonna get kicked off for that Spider-Man movie trailer.
I didn't think it was gonna happen, but
I was surprised. Well. I was surprised that it happened, but it's all right.
Sure. That's so funny. For our new movie that we're watching, it's called Reminiscence. It stars Hugh Jackman. It's about a private investigator of the mind. He navigates the darkly alluring world of the past by helping his clients access lost memories. His life is forever changed as he uncovers a violent conspiracy while trying to solve the mystery behind a missing client. Very interesting, very heartstring plucking. A movie you definitely should chat about with us. So, yeah, watching this movie, we see a couple stars, right? We see Hugh Jackman. We see what's her name? I forgot her name, but from 2012, she was great in there. I think she played like the president's daughter. Really good actress.
The main character.
Yes. Well,
Ferguson was May.
Not May. Oh, not May. Then
his partner, I believe.
Yeah, his partner. There you go.
Newton.
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now.
Thandiwe Newton, I think her name is. And she was awesome. She was Emily or Watts. They called her. She had a little. Yeah, she had that nickname Watts, which is kind of jacked up. But yeah, man.
It was nice.
Hugh Jackman was definitely the biggest star in this one. Cliff Curtis, he was in a few other things. He played Booth.
Yes.
He's been in a bunch of other kind of cool stuff. I think it was Live Free Die Hard. What else? Three Kings, Blow, Training Day, Whale Rider, Sunshine.
How do you say, man? Who would you? Let's see. The villain. Do you think there's a villain in this one? Kind of, yeah, right. Kind of mention his name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just the right.
There's.
I can't think of his name.
It's really not Walter. Walter is this rich guy who. Well, real quick, just to set it up, I thought the scenario of it all, the environment they were in Miami, but it was all flooded, which was really cool. So it's like somewhat in the future, obviously, because they're hacking into the brain to see dreams and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was really cool, where it was like everything was flooded and there's like the streets were unusable and they were like everyone was in boats and they made docks like on the new what, fourth floor, fifth floor, whatever. Yeah. They didn't really say how much water, but like they put docks just to the existing buildings, Wow. Which is really interesting. But I thought that was really cool graphics, though. I got to give that, like, for sure.
Same.
Like, just the whole, environment looked really cool.
It's kind of piggyback off of that. For some reason, in this new society that they've kind of created for themselves, or I'm sorry, that was created for them, is that everyone's nocturnal nowadays. Everyone sleeps during the day, and everyone's up during the night. All humans, everybody. And it's such a weird thing because, and kind of ironic too, a place like Miami that's known for its, riches in the day and parties and going to the beach and all these lively, happy things, right, that create happy memories. And instead you spend your days at night I'm sorry, you spend your time at night because time is no longer like how you say it? Time is no longer the same construct that it has right now currently in real
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
such a
Because he said
weird
like something
weird
like
setup.
everyone wants to live in the past. So
They
it's like
do.
it was kind of cool.
So I don't know who was exactly, but Hugh Jackman has this like machine, right? It's called, I think, the
Yeah.
Reminiscence, if I'm not mistaken. And you
I
pretty much get put
think so.
into, well, we actually have those modern day, but we have like those think tanks, right?
Yeah.
That make you kind of levitate and you kind of lose yourself, which is why you kind of hallucinate. And you're also fed low voltage, about 20 volts or 30 volts to the head while you
Yeah.
go through this
Which was super
process
cool.
to, I guess, resurface your memories, even memories that you don't remember, but if it's happened to you, you can bring it up like a freaking file
Hmm.
off of a computer, which is the reason why I have my background.
Oh, that makes sense. I was like, why'd you your background? That one
It's
makes
RAM.
sense.
Everything's about memory. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a
Yeah, it's all
RAM.
memory. That's true.
So yeah, it's little poetry or whatever. Anyways, so yeah, this movie is really poetic. It really comes full circle if you watch the whole thing. There's a
Yeah.
oh my god, there's a quote. Or here, let me ask you, what were some of like your favorite things that happened in the movie?
Um
The parts that you liked the most? What really stood out to
I
you?
mean, I thought I like the whole idea of like reliving the memories.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. Like that was a good idea. Hugh Jackman, I gotta say, Hugh Jackman was amazing. I thought in it,
Yes.
he sold the show. But one and another thing was like the whole feeling of the film reminded me of very like old detective-y kind of thing, but in the
Did.
future. So it was like me and my girlfriend were making fun of it. It was like one of those movies like out of all the doors she walked through, she had to walk through mine, you know, like that kind of like movie, you know, where like you know,
Yeah.
she opens the door and it's like it's just a silhouette with just the
Glasses.
sun like right on her
Oh,
face, like one line, kind of
yeah.
like old school stuff like that. And he's this detective, and the woman he falls for, and stuff like that. I enjoyed that kind of. I'm like, I haven't seen a movie like that in a long time, you know. But it was also set in the future, so it was like old timey feel in the future, you know. I thought that was pretty cool, you know, and well done, you know. But yeah, I mean, but the rest of the actors, I wish they got better actors.
I agree.
Overall. I mean, Hugh Jackman is amazing. Newton was really good. Ferguson, you know, which was May.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think she was that good, and a lot of the
Yeah.
other actors were not that good. And I think that's what for me is like kind of threw off a lot of it. Was I'm like, oh, really? But Hugh Jackman though, Hugh Jackman was amazing in this. I thought it was really really good in this one. He's just a great actor, man. He's just a great actor. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of other like good things I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely have more issues with the movie because there's a lot for me that took
Really?
me out of it, you
Okay.
know, because it's a detective movie. So you're
Yes.
trying to play along, you know what I mean? It's like
Piece
you're
together.
you're figuring out as he's figuring out, and you're like, oh yeah, it's her, it's him, it's them, blah blah blah, you know. And I think it did pretty good at that, you know. It, but it also was like it did weird things to get there, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, you know, like him like falling in love with her so easily and quickly, you know, like a few months, and he's like
Yeah.
hardcore, you know. But I don't know.
Wasn't too
What about you,
believable.
man? Yeah, what were some of the good things you liked?
So I liked I guess character progression and storyline. The whole plot just came full circle, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
So there's a line that's very iconic that if you apply that line to this movie itself, it's a beautiful statement. So the statement or the thanks actually.
I know you.
My
I
cat.
think I know what you're talking about.
So there is a quote that says like oh man, you know what? I need to pull this up. I need to pull this up. But nah, screw
Is
it.
it the
I'll just
happy ending,
yeah. So in
like
the
happy
movie,
story?
yeah. So Hugh Jackman and the girl that he falls in love with so quickly, which is done on purpose. There's a purpose why she does that. It's a setup. Spoiler alert. But you know, they spend a lot of time together. He falls for her, and she asks him like, "Hey, you know," she comes from like from a very humble beginning, being kind of poor and whatnot, and being with like the wrong crowds, if you want to call it that. But she
Yeah.
asks him like, "Hey, tell me a story with a happy ending," and he's like, that's impossible. There's no such things as happy stories or stories with happy endings. There's happy stories, but they end sad." And then she's
Yeah.
like, well, if that's the case, tell me a happy story, but stop it in the middle. And
Yeah.
so if you actually take that, and I know I butchered that line, but if you take that and
That's
apply it to
pretty good though. Yeah.
this film, it is a happy story in the very beginning, and it has such, you know, aspirations, and you're like, oh man, like I see where this is going, and you think, you know, Hugh Jackman is just, you know, a guy blindly in love, but he's just more blind more than anything. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the end, you know, spoiler alert, we're spoiler kings. It gets sad. I'm not going to tell you how sad it gets, but I almost shed a tear because I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you see change of character from May, because she's not who she seems. I kind of
She
like
kind of
that.
flip flopped like a few times.
She
You
did.
know, she's like, oh, she's like this. Oh no, she's like this. Oh no, she's like this. And you're like, oh, okay. You know, so it's like
Hmm.
the whole time you're trying to figure out her character. Is she the good guy
Yes.
or is she the bad guy? Kind of thing. And I was like, I like that for sure. I thought that was
Yes.
really well done.
It was. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if I could trust her or not the whole time, even from
Hmm.
the start, right? So the whole
From the
way
start.
from the start, the way he meets her, right, is he has this business, right? It's a memory backlog business. He uses his services for law enforcement to interrogate. It's kind of used as an interrogation device to look through memories and kind of get evidence, which is kind of cool
Mhm.
of a
Yeah.
mechanic. And so she comes to him, right? I guess with money, and she's like, "Hey, you know, I want to use your services because I lost my keys for my house." Real simple, just
Hmm.
minuscule, basic, like really keys to your house. That's what you want to use this very expensive, like super futuristic machine for, because you lost your keys. You know,
Yeah.
and he even tells her too. He's like, "Why don't you just, you know, get a locksmith? You'll save yourself a lot more money and time."
Mhm.
And she never responds to that statement ever. I don't think she did. Do you remember if she did?
I
It
don't
was.
think so.
I don't think there was like
I
a
know he
resolution
told
to
her,
that
he's like,
statement.
I remember him saying, he's like, this might not work because he puts it out flat out. Says along the lines, he goes, it only became important after it was missing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, which is also another thing that kind of was
Mm-hmm.
throughout the movie. You know, it's like you're trying to pay attention to the background things, which kind of like it was good at some points, and then also like threw you off at some points for
Yes.
me. But that was like a thing. He's like, you so you didn't notice it until it was gone. So he goes, you might not even see it in your memory because you didn't know it was there, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you know, and she was like, oh, it's okay. Let's still give it a shot. And right off of that, he's like, it's probably not going to work. And she's like, ah, it's okay. And I'm like, I don't trust her. I don't trust her.
I
You
did not
know,
trust her.
yeah, yeah, and sure enough, you know, the whole thing was kind of a weird setup. Like she her whole purpose was to make him fall in love with her because
Yes.
she wanted stuff he had, you know, or the
Yes.
memories, um, which
For
was
sure.
cool. What did you think about Booth? Booth was Cliff Curtis. He was like the crooked cop that, you
Let's
know, he
see.
is with the drug lord,
Oh,
which
him.
that guy was awesome.
He was,
The
man. He should be on
the
the big
drug,
screen more often. He's the guy that was from Fear the Walking Dead. He's one of the main characters on there.
yeah, yeah, I think he was
And
right.
yeah. And he,
Yeah,
he plays a good leader role. He plays, and I know I see he plays a good villain too. But he's the one, spoiler alert, he's the one that made May do all the things that she did. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, we don't have time for that, but he is a very smart character, very well written and very well executed by Cliff Curtis. So
yeah,
yeah, the crooked cop. He came from also kind of humble, kind of bad, sad beginnings, just like May. And he kind of says that too, like, "Hey, you know, so different, you know, than I." And I think he did well, man. I think he kind of saved this film, because without him and his, like, you know, close to the end of the movie, you know, past the halfway point, which is the happy point, and you kind of get to know him more often or more.
more.
you see that like everything how it played out was just like very smartly done, very intelligent. Like it's just
Yeah.
you can only look at the memories that you're trying to look for, and if you know what to ask for, you know what you're gonna find, right? And he knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Curtis' character knew this. What was his name again? Cop?
Booth. Something Booth. Cyrus Booth, but they I always throughout the movie they just call him Booth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right at the end of the part where you said you were like gonna shed a tear. It was super sad, super sad. I thought that climax was pretty satisfying. That's what she said, and but like it was this weird moment of like who's talking to who through the dream kind of old scenario, and Booth. Like he started like literally shed a tear. He cried, and it was just like May's words were so powerful, so meaningful, that he cried, and then they weren't meant for him, kind of thing. So it kind of like pissed him off. But yeah, I thought he was pretty good. I at first I was like, oh, okay, it's a crooked cop, blah blah blah. But it was a little bit more than that. It was like he like didn't care like at all. I mean, so yeah, for sure. And he had a messed up kind of side story that you find out at the end because he gets like deformed a little bit from like a burn.
Yes.
So, but who was the guy who was the drug lord in New Orleans? I can't think of the character's name. Was that Wesley?
St. Joe?
Remember his name? St. Joe.
Yeah, St. Joe.
He was great too. I liked him.
I'm so
I like he had that weird like Cajun accent, which was like I thought it was spot on. It wasn't too much where you're like, all right, chill Gambit, like
yeah.
It was just enough where you're like, oh, okay, you got to remember you're in New Orleans.
So that was a Cajun accent. I didn't even realize. Okay.
Yeah, he would say a few different things that kind of like popped, like like, oh yeah, he's from the Bayou, but
that's pretty.
He was a cool character, but like I was kind of like disappointed, like his character really didn't mean anything, and that's like something that is like you set him up. The cops were looking for him, this and that, and they play in the dream, and he's gonna be this big important person, and he was just like a nobody. Like it literally meant nothing in the story. They could have replaced it with just any drug lord. It was like, oh hey, yeah, here's the guy that gave her the drugs. Done. But they went so in depth in it, and then for it to kind of just like didn't really go anywhere. Because the whole point of him was to show the crooked cop was working for him.
Yeah.
So it was like you're going this way, but like it's like no, this down here, this person was the important person, which is another. That's what I was saying. It's like what threw me off. It's like the things you're not paying attention to winds up being the important stuff at the end. The same like the keys, kind of thing. It's like you don't know. It's like it's not important until it's gone, kind of thing. So it's like it's not important because you're not looking for it. It was I don't know. It had very very layered kind of stuff like actually in the movie with all the freaking dreams.
Yes.
So but I liked how they did that. With the technology thing, how'd you like that? I was expecting more Inception, where it's like, and I thought the way they did it, where it was this like circle stage beady kind of thing, was so it's like you always knew more or less when a dream was a dream kind of thing.
Pretty much.
I thought that was. I don't know. How'd you think? How would you feel about that?
So I was pretty like mesmerized by it, by the way, how simple it was, and but yet like informing of what it did. But I thought they were gonna go a different direction. So later on in the film, your memories can be like exported to like a little like chip like this.
It was like
And I was expecting some kind of deception where someone like makes fake memories, or like they were gonna tamper with someone's memories or remove them or like have that kind of thing. But they didn't go that route. And am I upset about it? No. But it's just when you get into this kind of like craziness, it's very interesting, and it kind of pulls you in and kind of what you said. It does kind of distract you from the rest of the progression of the story a little bit. But they didn't focus.
It's not as bad as Inception, though. Yeah, that's why I was like, Inception. That the whole thing was like, whose dream and how deep are you into that dream, kind of weird thing. Where this was like, I like that they didn't manipulate anybody's dreams thing. Although there was the, what do you call it? The burn. The burning, where it's like if you replay the same memory over and over and over, it's like a screen. You know, if like the image stays on the screen for too long, it stays on even when you turn it off. You can still see the image, and that's what it kind of does, and it kind of plays in your head and drives you crazy, kind of thing. So I thought that was like an interesting thing. Like when they first like said that was gonna happen, or that was a thing, I'm like, it's gonna happen to somebody, and sure enough, you know, it did. But oh man, like I gotta say, every all the parts of the movie were kind of like blah for me, but that climax was when you find everything out. That was the peak. That was good. That was you know, and he, you know, spoils, you know, he kills Booth, but he doesn't like kill him like. Well, he doesn't really technically kill him, because at the end of the movie, you see him being pulled out in a stretcher, and he's still alive.
Well, he killed his character. He killed his character. He's now a vegetable, reliving
basically
his worst memory, or one of his worst memories. So he's pretty much dead. I mean, no offense to anyone who actually is, I don't even want to use the word, but like he was damn near vegetable. He can't talk, he can't eat for himself. I don't think he can eat or do anything. Like I didn't really, again, they didn't focus on too much of that part, but he was just on a stretcher, like and just in his head, and only in his head. I don't think that kind of, and the way they kind of talked about it with that much voltage going through your head, playing that, I don't think you can come back from that. I don't think you can.
No, I don't think so. Just the voltage alone, like, because like they said, like in the early, he cranked it. They're like, don't go past 30 or something along that line, and he like just cranked it to like over 100. And he's like, bam, you know. And the memory was of him being burned, so it's like, so he's remembering the physical pain of being burned while his brain is literally getting like, you know, burned. From electricity. So
Jeez, I didn't even see
that. That was a good way to kill somebody, because technically you didn't kill them, but I mean they're brain dead at that point, like literally brain dead. Because there is Walter's wife kind of does the same thing, where she plays this memory of her first meeting Walter. And well, Walter was he was like this like landlord that bought a bunch of the dry land. So part of Miami that's like not underwater, so there's still grass basically, and he's been buying it up for like pennies because no one can afford shit, and so he's like this. I don't say he has like a monopoly, I guess. I don't know. He's just like this landlord, and he's kicking people out to buy more land and stuff like that. And you know, he ends up dying. You really. They don't tell you how he dies. Oh no, he did. He gets shot. Somebody came up and shot him because there was a lot of protesters that obviously didn't like him. You know, because he's buying all their land. But his wife is playing a memory when they first meet, and they're like, "Oh, I'm pregnant," kind of thing. You know,
that's right.
You know, so she plays that over and over and over again. So that was kind of weird when Hugh Jackman went into her house, and I saw one person dressed like that. I was like, And then another one, and then every guy was dressed like that because that was the only way to interact with the wife. Was to dress up like the person, like Walter, her husband, in her memory, so she doesn't go too like kind of crazy from.
It's like 50 First Dates. If you ever seen 50 First Dates, everyone kind of has to reenact that same setting, same outfit, same whatever, just to keep the sanity there. What little left was there. But damn. Freaking name. I don't know. At first, watching this movie, I didn't have high expectations for it. I didn't see that much hype for the movie, but I'm pretty glad that I saw it. You want to get into reviews, or what's up, man?
I don't know too much. Nothing really stood out for me where I can be like, I really love that, or I really hated that. It was just kind of an overall thing, with it. And also I watched the day before I watched this, I watched The Green Knight because it finally came out so I can watch it at home. And I was super pissed. Like really, really pissed. So like I wasn't in that good state of mind, even though it was like a day later. I was already like so upset at The Green Knight for being not good. It really upset me. And people love that movie. I was like, no. So maybe I was trying to like just focus on this one, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I can't really think of anything like good parts or bad parts that were like.
It was for me. I kind of agree with you. It was just a nice story. It was just a nice story, and it's kind of gonna tie into my review.
Your review.
Yeah. So let's kind of pull this up real quick. So the way we review things here at Spoiler Kings is we rate a movie a watch now, rate it a watch later, or watch never. So if it's a watch now, that means you have to drop everything you're doing and watch this film before you miss out on the hype. If it's a watch later, that means that it's not really worth your time, but it's worth watching at some point later on. Or never, meaning don't even give it time of day. It's not even worth your time. But for me, let me start off this time.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like watching Reminiscence, it started off as a watch never because it was, even though it was interesting, right, with the whole technology of the Reminiscence machine, I was like, where is this movie going? I didn't get so much hype looking for a missing girl because I've seen that story done so many times on SVU, right? So this movie for me was a watch later for that reason alone. Great storytelling, great execution, but you could have replaced Hugh Jackman with freaking what's his name with the God voice, the one who played the God in Bruce Almighty. I can't even think it was
Morgan Freeman.
Yes, his voice was very iconic, Hugh Jackman's voice, but if you replace it with his voice, you get the same effect.
I can see that. But yeah, I didn't mind Hugh Jackman because I think he has a very
even though it's an accent, but
but he was doing the American accent because he's what is he, Australian? What is he?
He's Australian, right? Yeah. What about you? What did you think about the film?
Oh man, so Reminiscence, it's the same exact thing. The first like half an hour, I was like, all right, this is a never. Like I'm not into it at all. And then the stuff started happening, the fake love story. He started going down this rabbit hole kind of thing. And then I was starting to get into that whole noir. It had a very noir detective vibe. That's what it was. And it started getting to me, with his diet or monologues, talking, or his thoughts, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I was getting into it, but the ending was amazing. I thought the ending was a very good ending, but I still got to give it a later. For me, a later, because it never really pulled me in, because even when the movie finished, I sat there, I was like I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. So I'm like, yeah, that'll probably be a later for me. Like it's a nice, like, maybe I want to say like at home date night with like, if you want to do like a cool, nothing scary, nothing too romantic, you want to get like something somewhere in between, I think this will be a pretty good one, like good action. There's a nice fight scene in it. That was a pretty good fight scene. But yeah, overall I would give it a later. It didn't blow my mind. It almost lost me right in the beginning. I was kind of getting over it at the start, but yeah.
And then I guess my last question for you is, since watching this, I know you almost want to watch it never, but being a later, would you watch it again?
I don't know. Like my maybe, like, if I didn't watch it with my girlfriend, she wanted to watch it, I'd be like, okay, but I would be on my phone probably for the majority of it. Like I wouldn't like really be watching. I would just kind of be there and it would be on kind of thing. There'll be maybe some parts where I'll kind of like pay attention, but for the most part, I really don't see me watching it again.
Mm.
What about you? Would you watch it again?
Would I watch this again? No, I don't think I'd watch it again. Like I said, it was
No.
nice the one time, and I feel like you just should watch it at least, give it some time. But
Yeah.
no, I would not watch it again. Even to like catch stuff that I missed. I know that's all about what this movie's about. I'm not even trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all good.
I mean,
it's okay.
the ending. I feel like anything that little tidbits that you find are kind of like pointless once you know the ending. Everything else is kind of like, like it's not like, oh, how'd you see that? Did you see that? It's like, nah, it all just kind of does it all at the end anyway, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. So on Rotten Tomatoes,
let's see what they thought.
Which is what we look at. So the tomato meter is 38%. That is not good.
Wow.
And then the audience is at 39%. So this is
no love.
Not a good movie on Rotten Tomatoes. No one's really giving it any love, like you said. A couple critics. This is Fox 10 in Phoenix. She said it is as the film itself is wearing a costume, and there's not much beneath that layer. Okay. So the Atlantic, he said it's a clever tale anchored by Hugh Jackman doing reliable work as an anti-hero haunted by his sins, and he gave it a positive review. So I was like, yeah. And then see, one more is Time Out. She's a top critic as well. So Reminiscence has imagination to spare, but it doesn't deliver on the precious memories it promises. She gave it like a 2 out of 5. So I can see that. I can see that. You know, so I see some people saying it's confusing. It really wasn't confusing.
No,
you know,
like I said, it came full circle for me. Everything got pieced together well. There wasn't really too many loose ends, and the loose ends that were loose, if you want to call it that, I didn't care for it. So, so it's like I'm not even mad. Like what didn't get tied up or what didn't get resolved or whatever. I mean, the end spoiler alert: the little boy, he got saved. That's all that matters. So I was just happy just to know that fact, and that's about it.
Yeah. Even like that whole part of like Walter's cheating, which we really need to talk about. Like I just feel like that was overlooked. Really, like they show it in the beginning, and then in the middle, like he's like, oh yeah, she hasn't been back to relive that memory in a while, and you're like, okay. And then you find out like, oh, what the thing is, and it's like it didn't carry any weight to it, even though like there's this boy that she had, so he can share in all the money, so the other son, by his actual wife, like he was getting jealous and stuff like that. So, but it just like it just didn't carry any importance to me. It's like I feel like something like that should have been like oh my god, and it was just more like, oh okay, it's like I don't know,
pretty accurate.
Yeah, like I said, the only time was that the ending, man. When he has that big conversation or one-way conversation with May in the machine kind of thing. That was really interesting and cool. No. But besides that, everything else was like kind of like, oh okay, like cool. Nothing where I'm like, oh my god, because I'm like, because the whole time they kind of set it up like we talked earlier. It's like, is she the good guy? Is she the bad guy? Is she the good guy? Is she the bad guy? Because they kept flip-flopping of like at least 3 times, So
if they didn't pull on my heartstrings the way they did, if they missed that part of the film, then this movie would be a never for me. Then
for sure, same.
Because that's what even saved a little bit of positiveness that I'm giving it, was that the fact that it made my heart think, or whatever you want to call it, right? It made me feel. So I was like, okay, like I'm trying to give it a chance. Everyone likes to give love a chance, so I was trying to as well. I'm sure you were.
Sorry. He always jumps on. But yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Yeah, if it didn't have that great, like climax of the part of the movie wasn't just like really well done, it would have been a never for me. But I think everything that builds up to that moment is worth it. But all the parts that build up to that moment are not that great.
Right.
But the ending is it, you know? So it's like the ends justify the mean kind of thing. But you know, it kind of sucked and dragged until that point. You're like, boom, I got you, you know. But you know,
and how glad were you watching this at home on HBO Max? You know, that was the best part of the film. If I would have wasted money at the theater, I probably would have, out of spite, rated it a never, just for that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is a movie I would have went to the theaters to see. You know, normally, if we're not doing a podcast movie review thing, I don't think I would even. I'm like, you know, maybe when it comes out on DVD, you know, but yeah, I was more excited when I saw a couple of the trailers and I'm like, oh, it looks interesting, you know, kind of stuff to me. It's like, it reminded me of like noir with Blade Runner and like
that one video
Inception.
Game. What was that one video game from back in the day that was also like mystery like, and it was kind of like comic booky from the PS2 days?
Oh,
damn, there's like a specific game that I'm thinking of. It kind of reminds me of this.
Yeah,
I can't think of it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, man. But so next week though, we are doing Candyman. We are doing Candyman, and I am super excited about Candyman because I don't think it's a remake. No, I think it's a continuation. It's like I want to say a sequel, but I guess it would be. But it's like what, 20 years later or something stupid. And I believe the same guy who played Candyman is Candyman still. You know, so how many times did I say it already?
Oh, watch out.
Be careful. You gotta be careful. Number 4, man. Because I know Brian and Marvin, they were they were talking about it, and Marvin got all freaked out. He's like, don't say it again. Don't say so I don't know, maybe those guys might join us next week, because I think that's gonna be a good movie. Peele,
Jordan Peele,
right? Jordan Peele is I think he directed and wrote it. I know he directed it. So it's gonna be he's really good at that kind of stuff, and it's gonna be like his first like legit scary kind of movie, because all the other ones are more like socially horror kind of movies. I think he created a genre.
He did.
Kind of, it's like that. This one I think is just gonna be a flat out like scary movie, which would be cool.
I can't wait.
Because Candyman back in the day, I don't think it became a cult classic, but it never really got the love it deserved, I thought.
At the current time when it came out.
At the current time. Yeah.
Totally right. Yeah.
It never, I remember watching it, because I love scary movies, and that was a good scary movie back then, So I hope I know it's gonna do it justice. I just don't know how well it's gonna do. So I think it's gonna do well, but we'll see.
And if you're a fan of Chicago, then you're definitely gonna catch this film, because they're gonna have hopefully again they'll have like the same scenery and background like filming here. Pretty sure they did, if I'm not mistaken. They had some trailers.
I'm not sure.
Here. But yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good scary movie, because I don't think we've seen a scary movie yet this year. Like Saw or Spiral was the closest thing, and I didn't care for it. I don't think I don't remember what your rating was, but I don't think you cared too much.
I wasn't crazy about it. Yeah.
So I think this is gonna be a good scary movie. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that sub button to check us out next week for Candyman. But also make sure you hit the Nerd Huddle sub button to all us over there on the main channel. So tomorrow we got Panda and Grizzly. They're doing the Bears recap, and if you watch the Chicago Bears preseason game, there is a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. So, oh man, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay. So yeah, so they're talking about that tomorrow on Panda and Grizzly. Then over on the Dynasty Pylon channel, they're gonna do. I think they're gonna focus a little bit more on the IDP, so all the defensive players for your IDP leagues and your Dynasty leagues and stuff like that. So make sure you want to check those guys out. And Thursdays, Did We Just Become Best Friends? We're gonna do trending. We'll probably watch the trailer again. I'll probably blur it or something. But we're gonna talk about trending. Obviously, Spider-Man's gonna be huge all the rest of this week, I think. and then whatever else kind of pops up, we'll see whatever else happens. Probably talk about I know Oli was at the Rampage thing, so CM Punk came back and in Chicago.
Nuts. Yes.
Holy crap, man.
Chicago lost
Holy
man.
crap. They said that was louder than when Jordan came back.
Damn.
Like that's what people were saying. There was like sport anchors, like ESPN guys, local guys that were there, and they were like, it was deafening. Like I don't know how your wife described it. Yeah. Just watching it was intense. Like you couldn't even hear his music because people were just losing their minds. So that was pretty. So we'll probably talk about that. I don't know if they.
My son had to put on these things. He had to put on the freaking earplugs. That's how bad it was.
Earplugs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
It was crazy, right? CM Punk. How loud was it? Being at that?
Very
Yeah.
Loud. Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that in some other stuff. But yeah, we just talk about trending. And then with Sundays, the morning spike, your fantasy football updates, NFL updates. We get you ready for your fantasy football. Couple more weeks, the football season officially starts. So yeah. So and then next week here, Candyman, we're reviewing Candyman. So make sure you guys hit that sub button with that bell notification so you know when we go live. And do us a favor, hit that like button too. It helps with the algorithm. I think we're at 17 subs now, which is awesome, man. I'm like super hyped about that. And we officially hit 100, over 100. I think we're at 102 now on Nerd Huddle. So appreciate it. All the links in the description to all of our channels on the network. Make sure you follow all of us. We appreciate all the love. But cool, man. Any last words, Will?
Yes. Look out for Casey. He's joining the Nerd Huddle.
Oh yeah,
You'll find out
Casey's gonna be. Yep.
Casey, watch out for him.
Yep. Yeah, his podcast also is in the link. He does audio only sports podcast. That's in the description as well. So make sure you check Casey out on Tater Tot Sports Talk. I love that name though. It's such a cool name.
Hey.
So good. But cool, man. Appreciate you being here with me, man. Every week. Oh yeah, we got our merch.
Hey.
Just showed that off. You wanna be part of the family?
Hell yeah, join the fam, bro. Links in the description.
Yeah.
I
need to. Not for the gun.
Not for the guns.
You gotta have permits for those. All right, guys. Cool, man. See you guys next week. Later.